So we were on about a 5-hour run today. I guess it's 6 or 7 hours actually, to go get these two 4950 Chevys. And I looked down at my tire, and holy cow, yowza, that ain't something you want to be around. Don't stand in front of that right now. That thing could explode. Not good. That could have been really, really ugly. Really ugly. Pond's going good. Now I need to get some fish in there. This is just at the corner of the property. So, sorry we've been on a hiatus again for a week. We've been really busy driving a lot. We had guests for graduations that were in town. It's kind of a big deal. And as you saw, we were driving all over the place, picking up cars and all sorts of fun stuff.
We get a lot of wind here. I get skin infections every once in a while, and so if you could barely see, I have a little bit of a remainder left. If I have a poor diet or if I get in too much wind, it was just the perfect storm. So
And she breaks out on these lesions on her face.
Yeah, and it hurts and it's painful and nobody wants to see it. I don't want to see it. It's yucky, but it is what it is.
She's still beautiful.
So we have an important video coming up too, but we decided to put that one on pause while it's being vetted or inspected, analyzed,
Yeah, so we thought we'd go over laws versus principles and what happens when principles become a law.
Yeah, we want to go over the benefits and the pitfalls of each individually, and then finally, when they're combined, the catastrophic results.
Absolutely. So first is law. Now, the beauty of the law is you know where the line is. There's no questions about right or wrong and at what point guilt is assigned over innocence.
Right, there's no gray. You're either guilty or you're not guilty. And the lines of right and wrong are there for everyone to see.
You might think of it as an uncontrolled intersection. You approach the intersection and the law says, what?
That you yield to the right of way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you look to the right, and if there's nobody coming that you're going to hit, the law legally says that you can proceed.
Yeah.
Because the law is you'll be looking to your right, and they'll be looking to their right, and the person across from you will be looking to their right, which is the person left from you. They'll be looking to their right, looking at you, and everybody yields and the law works. So aside from the rare case of 4 cars coming to the intersection at the exact same time, the law is pretty clear. You yield the right of way, and if someone hits you from the left, the accident is their fault because they were supposed to be yielding to you.
Right. And we would probably agree, yes, that's the law.
However, the pitfalls of the law are the same things that are its strengths. There is no gray area. It supersedes circumstance and may even stop someone from enjoying something clean in good conscience.
Yeah, a sign that says no stopping or standing on bridge means I can't stop in to take the view even though I'm not a jumper. But the external viewer can't know the difference, so the law covers all circumstances, even if it harms others' rights.
Right. You've probably heard me give this illustration before. A California king-size bedspread, well, it covers a king. It covers a queen. It covers a full-size bed. It covers a twin, and it covers a crib. Mm-hmm. But stuffing that king-size bedspread, or that law that covers every circumstance, well, it can suffocate one from the freedom to breathe, and can actually work in opposite to the principle or spirit of the law.
Which is why Jesus did away with the law. The religious leaders became legalistic, manipulating the law to their authority and advantage.
For example, let's go back to that scenario where I come up to that uncontrolled intersection. I legalistically follow the law, look right so as to yield the right of way, and somebody hits me from my left. And again, we all say, yes, that's the law. But how many of you would find me completely innocent if I said that that person on my left that hit me was an 8-year-old on their bicycle? As we can see, the spirit of the law, or the principle, is not to get in a wreck. And I totally ignored that.
So there we see the power of principle over law. Laws govern externally. Principle is governed internally.
Right. A law stipulates a legal outward action to me, whereas principle governs my actions through my perception of what is right. You might think of a stop sign or a stoplight as a rigid law and a driftabout as principle.
He means roundabout.
Yeah, that's what I meant, but we can edit that out. Anyway, now there are yield laws in a roundabout, but once you learn the principles and are governed by more thought and consideration of others, a roundabout is internally free-flowing.
That's really the only pitfall of a principle, that you have to think about others. That doesn't mean that there isn't a place for a rigid law. Laws can train the principle. And that's why the Bible still has laws, even in the so-called New Testament, to help train a Christian's conscience.
And the law of stopping behind a school bus only makes sense. There may not be a reasonable alternative of principle for a bus that's on a street that has no entrance available.
But really the principle of not wanting to hit a child may precede the law, even if the bus driver forgets to put out the stop sign.
Exactly. And that was Jesus' point. Adultery was and still is in the law, a definite external stipulation of a line not to cross. However, Jesus wanted the listener to see the spirit of the law, the principle to be governed by, from within, not even looking at a woman in such a way.
But was Jesus making a new external law based on principle?
Absolutely not. The consequences would be catastrophic, convicting the innocent.
For example, I will often say to Chad, "Isn't she pretty?" Or, "Do you like her hair?" Or even, "Doesn't she have a nice body?" And he will tell me honestly what he thinks. And often we view beauty the same, but is he committing adultery in his heart? That's something only he can know.
And of course God. But now imagine an outside person develops an attitude like the religious leaders in Jesus' day and thinks that he has the legal authority to pull me into an interrogation room for adultery for looking at a woman in a wrong-hearted way because someone heard me agree that she had a nice body.
Well, something similar happens all the time under the pretext of Galatians 6:1.
We're drug into interrogation rooms, and they are interrogation rooms. I sat through police interrogations, and it's absolutely no different. They act like your friends, so you'll spill all the information. I've seen elders play good cop, bad cop. They'll employ a number of these tactics to trip you up and twist your words against you. Basically, the only difference is, instead of reading you your rights in the beginning, which actually lets you know that the cops aren't your friend, the elders start by asserting their own authority by them saying the prayer. So yes, we're drug into interrogation rooms and questioned about music choices or other entertainment.
Or for walking into a sports bar.
Or the type of car you drive.
Or your dressing grooming.
Sometimes these are in print in the Watchtower, which, if it's just a question to pique conscientious decisions, that's fine. But all too often, it's carried out in the congregation as law and catastrophically imprisons one from their freedom due to Christ, enslaving them to men and their conscience. Again, another illustration that I've used before. One person says, well, you can't drive a motorcycle because that's dangerous. Another one says, well, you can't listen to this type of music. Another one says, well, you can't listen to Disney or you watch Disney movies. Another one, the bottom line is that they put up these walls and make a spiritual prison for an individual to live in. The only difference between a house and a prison is who puts up the walls and who has the key.
And at the same time, those correctional officers will use principle as a way to skirt around whatever their conscience allows, and at the same time use it to make laws for you that may not be anywhere in print.
Yeah, we've been in several conversations where that's happened, where they're bringing up something that they want us to change, and yet they're watching Disney movies or listening to whatever music, or their wife watches Harry Potter, and it's like, what about those things? So we've been in those situations several times, and we've asked, so is there a list somewhere of these conscientious decisions so that I can learn?
And of course, there's never an answer, because these change from congregation to congregation or from elder to elder.
But for those who acquiesce to these laws of principle, the Christ becomes a spiritual prison. And for those who reject the enslavement, they're beaten and deemed as apostates with police brutality.
Yeah, and with the police always being right and authority being upheld at all cost, the twisting of truth and abuse of citizens and inmates is rampant.
Now they want to claim these cases rarely happen in Jehovah's organization.
Yeah, and if that's true, then why are there so many of us?
Why are the stories so similar, though we've never met?
It's not rare. It's just that they stuff up the cry of the lowly one and they rule with their own authority.
So not only is it a gross hypocrisy, but the catastrophic consequences of making a principle into a law spiritually imprisons an individual where they should have the freedom of the Christ.
This is the reality of many of our experiences.
So, fellow citizens, let your voice be heard in the comments below.
Yeah. And don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell to see when we post a new video. Share the video, give it a big thumbs up.
Yeah. Big stuff coming. Wait for it. It won't be late. Emergency run today. This is our backup setup, but we don't really have it ready to roll yet exactly, but we're going to give it a try anyway.
We are here. There's the truck. 37 International. This guy out here has got a lot of stuff. Cool things. Our ugly trailer that hasn't been rode on the road for like 2 years. Started right up. That is cute. He's got some stuff over there too.
They made gold and diamond. Well, I guess they made, I don't know. And here's the funniest thing I ever seen. This 12 goes right through the block.
That is odd. I was thinking it was just the linkage, but you're right. There it goes all the way through and then to the other side.
Yep.
That's funny. They're a good looking old truck.
Well, we don't make them like this one.
That's right. What other kind of junk you got around here?
Pretty neat. That'd be really fun to do.
So we made it back without issue. So that was good. Virgin run. And I found all sorts of goodies while I was there. Got a tailgate for my F350 85. And he had some of these old porcelain lights. What other junk did I get? Some hubcaps. And some old lights. A couple pairs of those. Old heaters. Chevy truck. That's not a bad looking little truck. And I got another old fireplace screen and an old pump. Kind of an interesting one with the gear fulcrum on it for the handle. And this I can't wait to put upstairs. This is going to go on our top floor. That's a pretty good elk rack. That'll be cool.